I maxed out every SMG in XDefiant to determine which one was the best. In XDefiant, for the most part, guns are pretty balanced. You can use pretty much any gun in the game and be successful with it without feeling like you're at a huge disadvantage. I wanted to know which SMG was truly the best. So I figured the best thing to do was to max them all and then based on my experience, give that answer. Before I dive into this, I wanted to show you guys some of my stats in XDefiant so you know you're not getting your information from someone who doesn't know what they're doing. I believe I'm very good. I believe the stats show I'm very good. So looking at both of these pictures, you should be able to see that I know what I'm doing. I've played a lot, I have a lot of experience and a lot of success with every single SMG. But with all that being said, let's dive in. Now, before I talk about my experience with each gun, I wanted to show this one chart from Exclusive Ace on YouTube. I don't have the ability nor the time to make a chart like this, but he made it and posted it. And I wanted to show it to you guys because I believe that it's very helpful. I'm sure most of you know who Exclusive Ace is, but if not, he's a big YouTuber. You can go check out his channel. I just wanted to make sure he got credit for this chart. But looking at the time to kill for each of these SMGs, which is what really I care about the most, what we see is that up to 11 meters, the Vector is far superior to the rest. And then up to 17 meters, the MP7 from 11 to 17 is the best. And then the P90 takes over ahead of the MP7 just slightly up to 19 meters. And the MP5 is at the very bottom of the barrel as far as time to kill is concerned in the beginning ranges. In the second range category, the P90 takes the cake, followed by the MP5, followed by the Vector, followed by the MP7. So you're starting to see how these guns are meant to balance out. And then the last range, where the infinite range kicks in, doesn't really matter a lot for SMGs, but the P90 is at 655 and the MP5 is at 625, and then it just gets worse and worse from there. But looking at this chart, it may be hard to try and decipher which SMG is the best. A lot more plays into SMGs and the ability to be successful with them apart from time to kill. So based on pure time to kill, it's clear that the Vector is the best up close, and then the MP7 is probably the most versatile. The P90 is best at the ranges that you're typically going to be fighting in long range. But a lot more plays into it than this. So we're going to talk very briefly about each SMG, the pros and cons, and then at the end of the video, come to the conclusion about which SMG is the best. So the Vector is the first weapon we'll look at, and I believe it is a great option in this game. I loved using the Vector. I loved maxing it out. It was a ton of fun. It absolutely shreds at close range, but it does have a couple of pitfalls. Number one, the biggest pitfall, I believe, is the range. Outside of 13 meters, you're just not gonna win against any other weapon in the game. And 13 meters is a pretty small distance in the grand scheme of things. You can go in the practice range and see what that looks like. But I found myself getting killed by P90s and MP7s while using this gun, even though I was better than the people I was playing against, simply because I didn't have the range that they did. The second pitfall of the Vector is the magazine size. At 1000 RPM, having a magazine size of 25 makes it almost impossible to get more than 2 kills in a magazine. I found myself killing someone, and when I looked down at my magazine size, I had less than half the clip left. Granted, some of this is due to the desync and the delay in kills showing up on your screen, so that will be a little bit better as the game moves forward. But still, that is not a lot of ammo. You're going to be pretty much forced to use a magazine attachment on the Vector, which is a really big deal because in a game where all the guns are so close in viability, every little thing you're able to use to boost that gun's performance is going to matter. So having to use an attachment slot on a magazine is very detrimental for people who want to play with a Vector. The second gun we'll discuss briefly is the P90. The P90 is really the exact opposite of the Vector in the fact that it has a huge magazine that you can use to kill tons of enemies at once, but a very, very slow reload speed, which you will need to consider at times. The P90 has the third fastest fire rate in the SMG class, and I believe you can honestly tell. It seems to get out killed by the Vector and the MP7 at pretty much every range that matters for SMGs. But the biggest detriment with the P90 that I've heard no one talk about in any way is the fact that its attachments are very limited. Some of the best attachments available for the SMGs just don't exist on the P90. For example, I believe the lightweight stock is extremely powerful because it gives you plus 20% ADS walking speed, which is a huge deal. But with the P90, that's literally not even an option. You can't put it on the gun. And this isn't the only attachment that's the case for. It's several different attachments that you just can't use on the P90 because it's not applicable to the weapon. And again, in a game where every gun is so close in performance, each attachment slot matters in determining which gun is going to be the best. So with that being said, I do think the P90 is a good option, but I just don't think it takes the cake for being the best, as some people would say. The third gun we'll look at here is the MP5. The MP5 is typically a gun where you could say it is the jack of all trades, where it's pretty good at everything, but just not the best at anything. Well, I feel like the MP5 in this game is the two of all trades. And what I mean by that is that it's pretty much the worst at everything there is. It's not going to be the best at any category, and it's not going to compete with any other weapons in any other category. The reload speed is extremely slow. It only has 30 clip rounds in the mag. It's got the slowest fire rate, the slowest time to kill outside of a very small area in like the 20-meter range. And just overall, it is not a great gun. I believe firmly, and I believe most people would agree, the MP5 is the worst SMG in XDefiant, and there's pretty much no debate about that. Last but certainly not least, we're going to look at the MP7. I'll be upfront and transparent. I believe the MP7 is the best SMG in XDefiant, and here's why. There's absolutely zero weaknesses as far as the MP7 is concerned. Sure, the Vector might be better at close range time to kill, the P90 might be better at long range time to kill, but the MP7 is consistent across the board. And what I found when I was crafting my classes for each weapon in the SMG category, with the Vector, I was having to put on attachments that help range and mag size. With the P90, I had to use two separate attachments that help rate of fire, and I didn't have access to other attachments that I have with the Vector and MP7 that are really, really good. And with the MP5, we'll just throw it in the trash because it's garbage anyways, and I was having to use attachments to try and make it simulate the MP7 experience in any way. With the MP7, I was able to completely customize the class to be exactly what I wanted and to be as perfect as can be. Just to give you a little glimpse of what I mean, the standard movement for strafe speed is listed in the dynamic stats as 1.0 meters per second. With my P90, after forming that perfect class, the ADS walking speed is still 1.0. With the Vector, that aim walking speed moves up to 1.1 meters per second, but the movement speed did drop to 0.9 meters per second. And with the MP5, that strafe speed did go up to 1.3 meters per second based on what I have on the gun. But again, every other use for the gun is just not superior to any other weapon. It's got the slowest time to kill, and it's got a long reload it's just not very good. With the MP7 compared to the Vector and P90 at 1.1 meters per second and 1.0 meters per second respectively, the MP7 class that I've crafted has a 1.3 meters per second aim walking movement speed, which in this game is flying. And that's super important, almost more important than the time to kill, because much more than time to kill, it limits the opponent's ability to kill you. It makes you a harder target to kill, especially if you're skilled and strafe a lot and are able to bunny hop. So with all that being said, this 1.3 meters per second strafe speed, even though the Vector has a slightly better time to kill up close, the P90 has a slightly better time to kill at range, The MP7 is more well-rounded, and what I found is that 1, I'm harder to kill using the MP7, and 2, there's never a situation with the MP7 where I feel like I'm missing out on something. With the Vector, if I'm at range, I'm like, man, I wish I had a different gun. With the P90, if I'm up close, I'm like, man, I really wish I had a different gun. With the MP7, I'm never thinking, man, I wish I had this gun instead, because it does everything just as well as the other guns do. And in some areas, it does them a lot better. But with all that being said, that's going to be all for me in this video. I know I didn't break out any classes or give y'all any attachments or tips or anything like that, but those videos are coming. I plan to release one dedicated video for each SMG, breaking down what the best class is in my opinion and how I came to that conclusion. So if you want to see those, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Other than that, I plan to post a lot of XDefiant content moving forward. So let me know in the comments below what you would like to see, and I'll be sure to definitely try and take some of those suggestions and make videos that you guys want to see. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.